Hi and welcome to day 21 of Vlogmas. It's really flying by now, and first of all I'm going to open my advent calendar. I've got nothing knitting wise or sewing wise to update you on today, but I thought I would give you a little tour of my sewing room. So after I've opened my gift for today, then I will take you round and I will show you around my sewing room. So I hope that's going to be of interest to you. If not, I'll see you next time. This feels like a pen again today, so that's what I'm going to go with. Pen. It's very windy today. No rain today, but very windy. And we've got a wash out marking pen, which is really handy. And this is for dark fabrics. And because I'd like a lot of black, I think this is going to be really handy. And I don't know if you remember me a while ago talking about my Donny shirt, and it was a white fabric and marked it with a kind of a similar pen to this. This pen. And it left blue marks on it. Well, and I put it in the wash to wash off the blue marks, but somebody told me that washing it in the washing machine doesn't remove it. You should just rinse it under the cold tap and the pen will disappear. And I've tried it since with this pen and that works. And on the front of this it says washes out in cold water. So yeah, what I recommend if you're using one of these pens, just give it a rinse under the cold tap. So I haven't got one of those, and I think that's a very handy present. So thank you again, Jess. And let me turn you around to show you my sewing room. Now, full disclosure, I have tidied up a little bit. Normally it doesn't look as neat as this, but it's not the neatest little place in the world. It's because it is quite small and I don't have much storage in here. Before I get started on the tour of my sewing room, I just thought I'd mention what I'm wearing today, because I'm wearing a fully me-made outfit, and this is the Paper Cut Patterns Rise and Fall turtleneck, and I'm wearing over the top this little vest top that's self-drafted, and then I'm wearing my Elizabeth Suzanne Clyde work pants. And I love the shape of these. They've got like a seam down the front, which is top stitch. They've got this big oval pocket on either side, really deep pocket comes down to here. And I love these trousers, and I'm wearing my Ugg slippers with it. So that's my outfit for today. I'm working at home, so I've been on a meeting this morning and been busy doing my work. Now I'll give you a quick tour of my room, and I will show you some of the things I've got in a little bit more detail, but first of all I'll just do a 360-degree view of my room. So here's my little table that I've got. Now I can fit 2 sewing machines on there and my overlocker. Just over there is some projects that I'm working on or need to do something on, and then a few little bits and bobs on my window sill here. My little sewing mascot, he's called Phil the monkey. My work colleague actually named him, so I wouldn't normally name my teddy bears. And that's the my sign that I normally have hanging on my door, which says Nadia's craft room, and I got that from Etsy. So that's, I'll just pop that there. So I will show you this in a little bit more detail because I've got quite a lot of my sewing tools on there. But it sits on top of a chest of drawers which have some of my clothes in. So in this top one I have exercise clothes, swimming costumes, my tri-suit, all my t-shirts and vests for running. And then in the second one I have, that's where my underwear is and my socks and then the third one down is tops, and then in the bottom one I've got a little bit of knitwear and my pyjamas kept in there. So that's where I keep those kind of clothes. Now I just turn around, I would normally sit on the chair here in this part of the room to do my vlogs. As you can see, that's the door, which is normally my background. And at the moment I've got the wreath on, which isn't faring too well actually in the heat of this room. And then I've just got this double wardrobe here. There's my knitting down there and my advent calendar box. But yeah, this is the only... This contains all my clothes, this wardrobe, which is not really big enough actually. I've got quite a bit of stuff up there as well on top of the wardrobe, which doesn't look the neatest to be honest, but I am seriously short on storage space in this house. And then I've got here is my cutting table and my ironing board. So anytime I want to cut out or iron, I can either do it downstairs because we've got a big table that I can use for cutting out, but most of the time I just do it on this table, which is a fold out table, but it's quite sturdy actually, but it just fits in this space here and I can just squeeze through to exit. So it's either my cutting table goes there or my ironing board. I have to get the ironing board, iron, then put the ironing board away, then get the cutting table out, and my cutting mat, which I know you shouldn't keep upright, but I do keep behind here. You can see there's a cutting mat there. This is my main machine. So this is the Janome M50 QDC, which is a computerised machine, and yeah, I'm happy with it. It works fine. Now behind here I still keep here my older machine, which is a really basic Janome. I forget which one it's called, but it's just a manual machine, one of the most basic models. It does do automatic one-step buttonholes, which is good, and actually it does buttonholes I think better than my computerised machine. So I keep it handy in case I need to do like top stitching or anything else, or my computerised machine isn't working well with it for whatever reason, my project. And then here's my overlocker, which is just a basic brother overlocker. And I've got a pair of snips fastened to it because, yeah, when I do my sewing socials, people might not have snips handy, so I've put some snips on it. Oh, and here's my buttons. I had my buttons out this morning. There's my coffee. And up here, this is my all my camera stuff that I use for vlogging. Here's my walking feet and buttonhole feet and another couple of feet, and my spare spool. I was going to call it a stool. A spare spool for my machine. And that's the lovely gift that I got from Sally, which is brilliant. I'm going to start using that soon. And then I've got my bobbins, and then a little tin here that I take to my sewing socials that's got all the useful things in it. So I'll show you what's in here. The labels also are in here that Sally gave me. Some pins, a thimble, some needles, some clips, a foot, some snips, a marking tool, a bobbin, all those little things that you need. Oh, and the spare little screwdriver thing for my machine. And then this is what I'm going to give to my sister from the advent calendar, so I'll just put that to one side. There's my Kindle. I've not used my Kindle for a while. I don't really get much time to read, but I do like books. Some other bits and bats there, and my cross stitch project. So then on the other side I've got a candle, and it's sitting on top of my triathlon medal, which is a handy use for that. I've got this here, which is a stamp collection about Coronation Street couples. You might recognise some of the couples on there from Coronation Street, and Ben got me that as a little present. And there's my cuddly toy Phil, and behind him sits like some shells and pebbles and things that I've collected from the beach. This is my sharps tin, so anything like rotary cutter, needles, pins and things will go in there for safe disposal. Then I've got this little tin that says I love sewing on it. I've got a hand cream, a glue, I've got some magazines, I've got some of my book collection about sewing here. So I've got like 2 complete guides to sewing. One's from the Reader's Digest and one is from Singer. I've got like my scissors and things here. So got my pinking shears, rotary cutter, dressmaking shears. I've got some labels. They're my paper scissors. 2 other little pairs of scissors, some sellotape, and then I've got like snip scissors here. And these ones are the best ones. I love those scissors. They're my favourite scissors. And then in my pen holder, I've got pens and things, and I've got some seam rippers, marking tools. I've got some brushes that I use to clean out my overlocker and sewing machine, and nail file, pencil. Oh, there's my little chisel for buttonholes, and I've got an owl, and that's a chalk pencil, that one. So all little handy bits and bobs in there. Now this is my iron, and I must say this iron is absolutely brilliant. So here you can see it's got like 6.5 bar pressure up to 400 grams of steam, I think that says. And yeah, I really love this. So it needs to be up high, so when I've got my iron, I've got my ironing board set up just underneath, and yeah, it just provides the perfect amount of steam. It's just so powerful with the steam. Doesn't burn your clothing. It's really, really good. I really recommend one of those irons. Yeah, and so here is just the water bottle for my iron. Got some clips here, and then I've got like this with some rulers in it, more nail files, a comb, but it's got my French seam in it. It's got my metal ruler, my quilting ruler, and hot hammer. And what are those called? Loop turners, and another kind of little ruler, and a few knitting needles. And those knitting needles are not because I was actually knitting, but because I like to use them to turn out corners and things like that. And there's my pressing ham and my clapper, which I've used to make my heather blazer, and that's the little kit for the bag making. And then this I'm just going to pull out to show you. So it's a little box where it's all got dividers in it, and I find this really handy. So on the top I've put little stickers to say what foot is in the little compartment. So yeah, it's got all my pressing feet in it, and it's got all my needles that I have. And oh, this is what Bianca gave me actually for adding seam allowance. That's really handy. And bias makers and more needles. So that's my silk pressing cloth there, which I don't use as much as I should. That's for cleaning my iron out, and that's a badge I got from the Jane Austen Museum. So that's just contains some handy things. Oh, I forgot to show you inside this drawer here. So I'll just open up this drawer. And I've got 2 tins. One contains sewing bits that are handy, and another contains this top one contains all my threads. I've got some labels down here, there's a thread and patterns here, and it's sat on a Tilly in the Buttons book there. Just got some matches, oh, and a label, and my covered button maker down there. So that's what's in that little box. And up there, there's overlocking threads in that box there, and then in that tin there's all like sewing stuff. Box at the back, I've got more sewing stuff that contains things like zips and all sorts of things, and then that's my jewellery there. I recorded the vlog earlier today and I'd forgotten to show you my patterns and where they live, so I'll show you now. Here's my desk here. I've just been editing my vlog, and then I've got a waste paper basket to put all my sewing threads and things in, and then here are all my patterns stored. So I've got this big box from IKEA and that's full of patterns, and then these are ones that I've recently done, and then here's some more here. I've actually got some more in the other room. So how I keep them is in one of these paper folders. I write on the front what the pattern is, and then I try to all keep them organised in all the dresses together, all the tops together and everything. And then I write on the front if I've made it and when I've made it, although I'm not very good at keeping that up to date, but this one's unmade. I've not even cut that out yet, but that was on my Make 9 actually, and I've not got round to making it, so I think that's why I've pulled it out. So down there, that's my very disorganised, organised filing system. That concludes my little sewing room tour, which I hope you've enjoyed seeing. Obviously you've not seen any of my fabric collection because I can't fit any fabric in this room. It contains most of my clothes. My fabric lives downstairs underneath the stairs, and I also do have some boxes in the back bedroom. In a Calex unit I do have 2 full boxes in there. I hope you've enjoyed that little tour, and I'll see you next time. Bye!